Hi guys, I am going to do my theme of the week this week with Miss Nora. This week's theme is Chinese New Year, which this is the year of the dog. So to make it easy, I mean, if you have something that is like of Chinese culture, go ahead and use it. I just figured most people don't have anything for Chinese culture, like their like the different dresses from the different regions. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Anyways, but since it's Year of the Dog, I thought we'd go with dogs. So I'm gonna put this little outfit on her. This is a Carter. Oh, Just When You by Carter's 3 months top. And it has this cute little wiener dog on it. And it's got it's pink with that layered sleeve look. So it's a pink t-shirt with the white long sleeve part, and they're sewn in together. And then it's got the cute little wiener dog, and on the butt it has a little heart. And then it has a stocking hat with a some hearts and some red flowers, some pink hearts, red flowers. And then it's the brim and the ball on the stocking hat are blue, or not blue, green. Then it has a scarf that matches the flower hearts, and then the balls on the scarf are also green. And I am going to pair it with these Baby Gap 0 to 3 months pants. And they're fleece lined, and we need that right now. Poor Nora is one of the last babies to get out of cold stuff or cooler weather clothes. The rest of the babies all have something Auntie Angela gave them. And Nora, I didn't have enough to dress her, and I was gonna dress her for Valentine's Day, but yeah, I didn't have any girl Valentine's Day clothes, and I thought I did. So, poor little girl had to stay in her little monkey outfit from Auntie Crystal's birthday theme of the week. And yes, I know I'm a bad mommy, and the fact that I have just been pretty much changing them for themes of the weeks, most of them. Like, since Nora is a Generation 4 baby think it over, she and like the neonates don't get changed as much as like my real cares. But it doesn't mean that I don't love her any less. She is definitely a forever baby, since this is the last Christmas present I ever received from my grandma and grandpa. My grandpa passed away just after Christmas, the Christmas that they bought her for me. And while my grandma is currently still alive, I don't know. I don't think she'll be with us much longer. I'm not trying to make a Debbie Downer video, but I got a phone call from my mom on, today's Thursday, so it would have been Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. My mother called to let me know that my grandmother had fallen out of bed. She's in a nursing home, and she has Alzheimer's, so she's in the memory care unit. And she's been kind of going downhill lately, and they have her in this really low bed. When I was in Fargo, my mom and I went to visit my grandma, and my grandma was sleeping, so we just let her sleep. We figured she needed the sleep, so we just let her sleep and just kind of stay with her for a little bit. And anyways, they had her bed really low, like it wasn't even a foot off the ground. It was a hospital type bed, but it could get really, really low. And by her bed, they also had like this mat on the floor, like a soft mat. Well, apparently they don't know if she was trying to get out of bed, or if she rolled off the bed, or she got tangled up in a blanket, or what happened. But she fell off the bed, and she did land on the little mat, but it was like her legs and her feet were still on the bed, but her head and the top half of her body were on the little mat. And apparently she hasn't really been eating. She doesn't really stay awake much. So my mom and my uncle went to see her, but they kind of have her on what they call comfort care right now. And they said that they might end up moving her to hospice. So we're not sure how much longer my grandma has with us. So once my grandma's gone, I mean, this baby means a lot to me to begin with, but it'll be even more since my grandma is my last grandparent. All my other grandparents have passed. My dad's dad died when I was 5. My grandma, my dad's mom, I was 11, I believe. Yeah, I was 11 when she passed away. And my mom's dad, I was an adult. I cannot remember how old I was. I'm trying to think. It wasn't long after my husband and I got married, so it was early 20s. And it's been over 10 years now. Yeah, it has been over 10 years. My grandfather passed away about 12 years ago. Has it been that long? Sorry guys, I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, it will be 12 years. 11 or 12 years ago my grandfather passed away. But and my grandma's she turned 90 this past year. And she's been living in the memory care for, well, my son is going to be 8 this year, and before I was pregnant with him, she was put up there. So she's been there 9 to 10 years. So my grandfather it must have been 12 years ago. Yeah, it was 12 years. It had to have been 12 years ago. Because it wasn't much long after my grandfather passed away that she ended up going into the memory care. She went to live with some of her sisters for about a year after he passed away, but before my grandfather passed away, I had been telling my mom and her sister that grandma needed to be seen because my grandma was getting very forgetful. She shopped at the same 3 grocery stores every week, and she was just getting more and more confused when going into the supermarket. And they never, like, she would get mad. She'd be, oh, they changed this all around again. Because, yeah, grocery stores from time to time will remodel and move things around. Where, I mean, they hadn't. It was just, she was getting mixed up in the store. And apparently neither of them believed me until my grandfather passed away, when she went to live with her sisters, and her sisters were like, you know, something's going on. So they ended up putting her in the memory care. They initially had diagnosed her with dementia. And then later on, once more of her siblings started coming down with the same symptoms, they realized it was Alzheimer's. My grandmother is one of 9 siblings. One of them passed away when my grandmother was younger. And then she had 3 brothers, and 2 of the 3 brothers passed away from Alzheimer's. And most of the sisters are still, aside from the one that passed away when they were younger, most of the rest of the sisters are still alive. But of the sisters that are still alive, 3 of the 5 are in a nursing home under memory care. So you can see where I'm going with this. So it's ran in her family. But, I mean, it's been kind of sad because, like, at this point, she's just a shell of a body. And as much as I get the comfort of knowing my grandmother is still alive, it's just, it's selfish in the way of, that, yeah, it's a comfort that she's alive, but she's not really living a life. And I know people will be, oh, well, what about, you know, people with special needs that are severely physically and mentally disabled, you know. I can't make that choice for those families. That's not my choice. It's not my choice to judge. If I had a child with severe disabilities, and, you know, if they were able to interact, where she's at the point where she doesn't even interact. It's one thing where, I mean, I've been around a lot of people with disabilities, severe ones, and they're animated, they're interactive. They smile, they cry, where she's just at this point a shell of a body. So, and like I said, it's the comfort that they know she's here. But on the other hand, you know, she is 90 and she's basically just a shell. So when I get the phone call that my grandmother is gone, will I probably cry my eyes out? Yes, because my grandmother was like a second mother to me. But it will give me a little bit of comfort knowing, you know, she lived her life. She's at peace now. She's with my grandfather. She's with her 2 brothers. Well, all 3 of the brothers have passed away now. But she was super, super close to 2 of the 3. And, you know, knowing that she'll... having the comfort that she's with her 2 favorite brothers, which she loved her brothers more than she loved her sisters. And she's with my grandfather again, that alone, and she's with her mother again. That alone will give me comfort. And, I mean, I haven't, when we lived in Minot, we would go visit her, like the kids and I and my mom would go visit her every time we'd come down. And I've got lots of pictures of my kids with her. And I mean, I saw her as much as I could after we moved away, because when we were living there, we'd see her at least once. Typically it was every other week my mom and I would go see her when we lived in Fargo, because she was in that area. But once we moved to Minot, I could only see her once a month. And now that I've been down here, the only time I've seen her since we moved down here, almost 2 years ago, was when I was able to, or when I flew up for my dad's surgery. My mom and I have talked about the funeral, where everybody in my family's like, you know, don't worry about coming up for the funeral. But my husband and I have talked about it, and he's like, you know what, we need to go. We need to go pay our last respects, as well as that way the kids can see my parents. So we've made that decision kind of already. My mom doesn't really know about it. But instead of flying up, we'd drive up. It'd be a lot cheaper to drive up. Yeah, it would take more time. But it's easy, honestly, like thinking about, aside from the money, to me it's easier to drive up with my kids than fly. Where I don't know exactly how they'd react with flying, as well as then I'd need to orchestrate car seats and stuff like that. So it's just, and as well as we wouldn't have a vehicle when we were up there. So it's just easier for us to drive up there. That way we have my husband's truck. We'd have our own vehicle. The kids would have their car seats. And we could just do it that way. So I know this kind of went on longer than I wanted to, and it's kind of a rambly, but it was something I needed to get out, because I really haven't told many people. But Hope you enjoyed the changing portion of this video because Nora looks really cute in this outfit. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you all later. Bye!